Good morning. So I don't know what this video is going to be about. God just told me to pick up the camera. So let's see. Y'all stay with me. Stay with me. Okay, good morning, y'all, and happy Taco Tuesday. Yeah. I don't know why I'm doing all that like I'm cooking tacos tonight. I'm not. We going to this place called Queen's something today. That's where we going. So we're going to drive and go get that. Okay, so that's what we're having. I don't know if they have tacos, but I've been up since about I want to say 3:45. I edited a video, posted, so check that out. And after that, I said, okay, let's just sit in silence with God. And I've been sleeping in my prayer room. My life is transitioning yet again. And I'm just on because I did a video about Tina Campbell and her situation and how many people were saying so many horrible things about her. And I was saying that, well, I can relate to her. And, you know, when you, God, the only way you can have that is if God speaks to you, right? So God has spoke to me about her situation and told me that it was very similar to mine. Sometimes it's not about what you want to do. Sometimes it's about what God is telling you to do. And a lot of people may not understand it. And I tell people all the time, it's okay for other people not to understand what God is saying to you, because everybody has that unique relationship with him, right? And when you develop that relationship with him and you respect what he's saying, you're going to do what he's saying, even if nobody else understands. Like a lot of people say, like when people pass away, I was talking to my daddy, I was talking to my sister, I was talking to my mama. Talk to God. Talk to God. If you say you hearing from them, those people, the most important person you should be talking to is God. So when everybody did all that about Tina Campbell, and I don't even talk about stuff that's going on in the world. I'm not big on the latest trends and all this stuff, but God just put it on my spirit to do a video about that and just say she was doing what God was telling her to do. You could literally tell that she did not want to go down that road again, but she was doing what God was telling her to do, point blank, period. So if you're telling me to do this and trust you, God, I'm going to do it. And I said that in the video. And I'm saying all this to say people don't understand, but it's not for them. It's for men. I'm actually going through that right now in a relationship. First time around, wasn't good, wasn't the best. Both of us had things that was going on with us that we had not healed. Well, I ain't even do quotations. We hadn't healed from. And but he was my spouse. I knew he was my spouse. So the hard things, a lot of it childhood trauma, a lot of it just not knowing how to communicate properly, you know, all of those things that come along with it. Could be the perfect person if we, or if they, or if I, right? So that's what went on the first go round. So when we initially split up, I had just started my journey with God. I really wasn't hearing him like I'm hearing him now. Now I have no doubt when it's God and when it's me, or when it's, you know, not God, the enemy. So when we split up the first time, I was like, okay, God, that's over. Thank you. Start preparing me for my spouse, like my husband. Like, let's do this thing. I'm ready. I'm ready to embrace single. I'm ready to embrace me and you in our journey and my daughter. I'm ready to embrace all of these things, right? And I will never forget it. I was standing in my bathroom where I'm at all the time doing my get ready with me, of course. And God said, when I said, get ready, prepare me for my spouse. And God said, you told me to remove your husband. And I'm like, now I'm tripping because I'm not really hearing God. Well, I'm hearing God, but I'm not knowing. I'm like, okay, is that in my head? Because, and then I'm like, that can't be in my head because I really don't want this person. Like, it was too toxic. Our personalities could not coexist, right? And I'm not saying that it was all him. Like, no. Our personalities just could not exist. Two strong-headed people, um, both thinking they're right. Nobody's trying to waver, and nobody wants to, you know, be wrong. Like, it wasn't about how to make it better. It was who's right, who's wrong. So when he said that, I'm like, wait a minute, no, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm like, that can't be. I'm like, God, because he did the things that he entertained, the things that I did not entertain, which I didn't have a problem with it initially. But then where I was at on my journey with Christ, I'm like, oh my gosh, we should not be doing this. He shouldn't be doing this. I don't need to be doing, like, I'm trying to do everything the way that the world has taught me to do it and with God, right? So I'm like, I don't need to be, and he don't need to be, and we don't, and I was really pushing him to be where I was at. Like, you gotta go to church, we gotta go to church, you can't do this, you can't do that, because that's what the world teaches you when you're doing it the world way. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out. And I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? So it was certain things that I stopped just doing, to be honest. Like, I stopped, okay, we're not gonna be intimate. We're not doing it because God said no. Like, we shouldn't even be staying together because we weren't married. And I'm like, we're not going to do anything. So I had cut that out. Like, wasn't doing nothing, still laying in the bed, but we wasn't doing nothing when we were together that first time around, just because I was feeling convicted for it. Like, I was really feeling convicted. I felt horrible. And I'm like, this should not be. And then it got to the point where, okay, maybe we need to just separate, because it wasn't just we weren't married. We would also be arguing, fighting. And again, I'm not saying one-sided. We both contributed to that. Like, we both was jacked up, right? So I was like, we might need to separate and just try to figure this out, like, not being together. Because sometimes when you stay with somebody, it can be totally different, right? Than when you're just like dating and not staying together. So I'm like, we need to get stuff together, not living together. Like, things I need to work on within me, things you need to work on. Like, we've tried the counseling. I think we had tried counseling then maybe 2 times. With one of them was actually my therapist, maybe 3 times. Yeah, because we did a group counseling type of thing. And then we did my counselor actually counseled us. And then we did a lady counselor. And either way, it did not work out. And then we also, just because we split up, and we was like, okay, yeah, went like a month and a half, not seeing each other, maybe not talking to each other. I can't remember the exact time, but it was a minute. And then we talked, and like, okay, yes, God had been telling me this is my spouse. And he reached out about something with his son, and that needed to be done because we both came in a relationship with children, right? So I responded back, and then from there it kind of just went on, and we just kept talking. And he was just saying, miss me, I miss you, all of those things. So I like put a grind line, like, we have to go to counseling, we have to do it, we have to be consistent, because that's the only way this is going to work. It's a lot of things that has happened that we need to figure out. So we did that. We tried, at least. And he would do a couple of sessions, and then it would be, he had a business, so he would have a business proposition that he had to take, So he would miss. And then there would be times that I'm sitting in the counseling session by myself. And so with that, it just came, my counselor said, you know what, we can't keep doing this. He has one more time. If he misses it, that's it. We're not doing it anymore. He was like, because it's defeating the purpose. How's it couples counseling if most of the sessions is just you? That's not going to work. So I said, okay. I told him what the gentleman said. Like, we really have to make these sessions. And I think we were doing every other week then. So every other weekend. So it was 2 Saturdays out of the month in the morning for an hour. And he missed that last one. And it was like, okay, that's it. So that stopped. And then I went to a church and they had like a couples counseling thing for people, and I won't go into the logistics of that because it'll be a long thing. But they had that, and it was mandatory that both parties attend every counseling session, y'all. He said he would do it, and then he was like, but initially he was like, it's just a bad time. I think it was around, trying to think, either it was when school was going to start or when school was about to get out. School was about to get out because it was graduations and stuff like that. And he let me know, like, you know, this is my busiest time of the year. It like be a lot of graduations, weddings and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm like, but please, I'm like, it's every Sunday for 9 weeks. Just make the sacrifice. Just do it. And I'm like, yes, it's 3, because this one wasn't an hour. It was literally like, I think 3 or 4 hours, or 2 hours and a half to 3 hours, something like that. So it was a lengthy period of time. But when you really want something and you want what's best for yourself and that other person, and they're really your all, you'll make that sacrifice. You might, things, because I was doing the same thing. I was making a sacrifice as well, because I'm like, okay, we got to do what we got to do. And I'm like, it was like other couples. So in my head, I'm like, this is great, because then we'll see we're not the only ones. We're other people can relate to us. So it'll be great. And it was great. Like, I got a lot of knowledge. Like, they had homework for us to do, all of these things. And I just wasn't seeing the stuff. My eyes was closed to the fact that he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for it, because when we did the homework, he would kind of I would do the homework. He would say, well, you can just do it. I would ask him the questions. He would get irritated with the questions. Like, I could tell that he wasn't interested. But at that time, I wasn't seeing it clearly. So that happened, and you were only allowed to miss one session, and both parties had to be present. And what was good about them is both parties didn't have to be in the same space. So it was okay that he was somewhere else and I was somewhere else, as long as we were both on. And then it was a couple where, I think it was 1 or 2, where both parties had to be in the same space in order for you to do the activities. Y'all both had to be together. And then after y'all did the 9 weeks, you had an option to get married, and they would pay for everything or whatnot. But